This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We are getting blasted from every angle for yesterday's show, which was incredibly local, saturated in unprecedented playoff winning. We've never had, never mind 8 seeds that are fun, we've never had this kind of winning streak in the playoffs where our teams all of a sudden do nothing but win at a really important time. And people are fed up with it. Somebody writes in, it's gotten to the point where I don't want to hear your discussions about the NBA without a mean. You're in your Miami bubble so much, you can't give good analysis. It's just annoying. You admittedly don't watch the games and the conjecture isn't interesting. We watch the games. Our analysis might blow, but we watch the games.
We were also spot on yesterday.
Zaslow is getting a lot of criticism, especially because he went after Joe Mazzulla. A lot of Boston fans very protective of rookie Joe at 34 years old. This kind of garbage should be beneath LeBatard and company. Alas, they are now the thing they used to make fun of. And I came in here today, and it was more obnoxious than it was yesterday. Everyone has concluded that the Knicks stink. And this has got to be the greatest hell remaining of any kind in the playoffs. There can't be a greater hell that you turn to your bench trying to figure out what to do to save your postseason and your season, and Quentin Grimes is your solution.
Line drive, Quentin Grimes.
The Quentin Grimes adjustment.
They beat the Knicks at their own game yesterday. I mean, offensive rebounds.
Missing shots?
I can't. Oh, yes, rebounding shots that both teams are missing because everybody was missing shots. It is such a bad basketball compared to the other basketballs being watched in the playoffs. Like, it really is.
The Knicks are ruining it for the Heat. It doesn't feel like the playoffs right now, so I feel like it's going to end up harming them in the next round because this is just so regular season feeling that they're going to go into the next series. And this team stinks. The saddest three-headed monster I've ever seen. I don't ever do, I'm not one that gets all crazy and ripping people. This team, not scary at all.
I think it proves to even delusional New Yorkers who run in the street when they get a playoff victory. This is the clarity of, we need a player better than all the ones we have if we actually want to play at this level. We need somebody to be at the front of this so Randall and Brunson could get back a little further in the line and not be relied on. Randall played very well for Randall yesterday. You saw a lot of people on television pointing out that Randall, by efficiencies, is basically the worst postseason player. Takes a lot of bad shots, is a different player in the playoffs with his inefficiencies, can't be trusted. He played pretty well.
I thought he was the worst player on the court last night. He was awful. 6 turnovers, 5 of them being pick sixes, doing absolutely nothing defensively. Anytime Max Strus gets switched on to him, Max Strus looks like he has the quickest first step in the league. Julius Randle is a garbage man. Terrible basketball player. Get that guy out of there. He's a bum.
Randle's career percentage shooting is 32%. The worst of all time in the playoffs for anybody with at least 200 shot attempts.
What I should have said, on one end of the floor, Julius Randle did not kill you, even with the 6 turnovers, because they need people who create offense, for better or worse, and they analyzed it. TNT was saying you cannot be somebody who is Julius Randle's skill set and relying on making consistently tough baskets. Like, I like that he's aggressive. He will go into the paint and cause you problems that Brunson can only cause you with floaters. That he can do things with elbows and knees to break down your defense and create offensive rebounds because they're a physical team. But I can't imagine how frustrated the Knicks were last night in the number of times where the Heat are getting 3 and 4 shots because they're getting offensive rebounds, which is not the Heat's game.
You can have for the rest of my life, Knicks fans, the dish out to R.J. Barrett for 3. Yep. The rest of my life, you can have that. That is just never going to scare me.
They're sold that at least R.J. Barrett is maturing. Like there's no fool's gold here. The guy, shoots 27% from 3? But
he's playing hard. I'll give R.J. Barrett that. Of all the guys, he seems to be the one. He has the face on of, this is the playoffs and we need to be different. But it's just not even close.
He's just performing better than expected, and they're just looking for something. Right. They're not a good basketball team. They weren't a good basketball
Don't
team.
say that. That's
they
not
beat
true.
up on the Cavs.
That's not true, Mike.
They're not a good basketball
They're
team.
Is
above.
this the best team? Like, let's rank this Knicks team. Like, what? This is the best Knicks team since when?
Hold on, guys. We are 4 games removed from them pulling off a surprise I did not think they were going to pull off against Cleveland. This is an above-average basketball team, but we're in the depths. We're in the deep water of the playoffs.
They're garbage. Garbage basketball.
They're
team.
making this Heat team, which is admittedly one of the worst ones we've had in a few seasons.
Yeah.
And they're making us look like a team that can make the finals. Like this, the Heat are probably going to have a wake-up call next series, but it's just this Knicks team, poop.
I'm happy Chris mentioned that because I was getting visibly upset at how bad the Knicks were because they are not preparing the Miami Heat enough for the next round.
That's ridiculous. Like, if they play Boston in the next round, they're not going to be up for that series?
It'll take a game.
Get out of here.
It'll take a game. That first game, they're going to come out so flat. They're going to be like, whoa, this is like a
professional
team?
basketball
Oh, my
team.
God, Jaylen Brown, he's good.
You guys are acting like the Heat are winning these games by 30 points.
This has nothing to do with the Heat.
If they shot normally, they would have won that game by 30 points.
This is just how ordinary the Knicks are. The Heat, I'm not saying the Heat are something special. The Heat are just dealing with a team like the Knicks, and they're going to, it's easy. Heat in 5.
Yeah, we're finally beating bad teams like we should be.
Nobody likes that guy
What?
who's up 3-1 and says Heat in 5 with his chest out.
Oh, what do you
When
mean?
you're From 3-1? From
What do you mean?
up 3-1?
An 8 seed, the first ever 8 seed with multiple 3-1 leads in the playoffs. How about us?
I was rooting for the Knicks last night just so I could get a better price on the Heat.
Yeah. They're such a disappointment. And the media and all their fans gassed them up, and they actually made the Knicks were favored in this series.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Favored.
Dan, I'm never like this cocky Heat fan. This is just in the perspective of the Knicks. Like, I'm not saying that they're going to beat the. I'm not feeling confident about the next series. I think the winner of the East is coming out of that. I'm sorry, culture chatter. I don't want to get taken off the island. But right now in this series, this is not even close. The Knicks are far away.
This is surprising to me because what this has been to me is a show of the Heat playing their best version of their game and taking an above-average basketball team in the Knicks out of their game completely. The Knicks are not good enough to advance far in the playoffs. They don't have enough shooting. If you're going to build around those 3 players, you need elite shooters all over the floor to be able to help them, and they just simply don't have the personnel. The Heat should have swept this series, right? If not for Josh Hart throwing his legs into Jimmy's ankle, this is a clean sweep, and the Heat are clearly, dominating the Knicks. But on the same token, like, the games have been close by score, but I think what's fair is, like, last night, even in a game that was single digits most of the way, talking to anybody, like, it never felt really close. I don't think for any of the players or the media.
You weren't scared because, you guys see, this is what's happened down here, and I understand how it's happened. The insanity and frenzy of every regular season game matters because it's LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, and the country does not like your team and is rooting against you. The insanity of that has made it so that you're watching that Knicks game, and you get so much great comfort in, well, we're leading the entire time. I don't have to be afraid of deficits or the stuff that was happening against Milwaukee where I'm down 16 and I'm really scared because I know they're better than we are, or I fear that they're better than we are. This team, you feel like you're better than, and also the games are going wire to wire. You're never threatened in any meaningful way. And as the season's being decided last night, you got the voice of Julius Randle saying that maybe they want it more than us. And the video I have from yesterday is Julius Randle with a super sloppy pass. He throws his head down. This is not the guy that you want saying, I guess they just want it more than us, when the play I remember from last night is him really sloppy with a pass. Heat get a fast break. Brunson's killing himself to get back there and defend Vincent. Vincent misses the layup, and there are only Heat players there because Julius Randle's back at half court like, oh, why didn't you catch that lazy pass of mine? Let's listen to this Randle sound after the game.
Julius, you guys haven't been able to get the amount of offensive rebounds and loose balls that you were in the Cleveland series. Just what have they done? Maybe to kind of beat you at your own game almost.
Just maybe they want it more. I don't know. That's been who we are all year, and we got to find a way to, step up and make those plays if we want to keep this season alive.
The Knicks are and were the entire regular season good at offensive basketball. And what I've seen over 4 games is, oh, look, Miami's better at defense than the Knicks are at offense. Because Miami's not shooting well in these games.
But what's so good about their offense? Just Jalen Brunson gets into the paint? I know he's good at that, but
No,
that's
their
the
regular
offense?
season numbers were good offensive numbers. And yes, Brunson and Randall were
Despite
really
not
good for
being
them
a good
this year.
shooting team. Like last night was kind of in line with their normal season performances from 3. It's the lack of in-game adjustments is a little weird. The double team is getting absolutely cooked by Jimmy Butler because he's a smart basketball player, and he said it himself. I love it when teams double team me and triple team me because he is always going to make the smart play, and then that person is going to make the smart play and pass it to the next open man.
53 of their points, I think, last night came from Jimmy Butler on double teams, just passing out of them.
Yeah, I think you got to trust hard to defend Jimmy one-on-one, but it's honestly too late. The series is over. Everything is over.
The part that's been great for the Heat is it does feel like this is a team that's just coming into their own at the right time, where you're looking at a roster that, look, the whole thing was run it back, and everybody kind of laughed at that when this team was struggling and continued to point out, oh, look at the ceiling of this player or that player. But realistically, while Kevin Love hasn't done all that much in terms of really changing what they do on the floor, his outlet passes have been amazing. He's hit a few key shots, including last night in the third quarter. His vibe, like it sounds crazy, but his vibe and being the bridge.
Oh, come on. His vibe is the Knicks.
Being the bridge from
stands right.
Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry to the rest of this
he's got a
team
vibe.
does make a difference. These guys genuinely like each other. You can see it.
Guys,
I'm
listen,
there.
Jeremy's there. So stop dismissing Jeremy. You're not there.
I don't doubt that he is there. I am dismissing the idea of a vibe being brought.
No, he's right. Jeremy's right.
It's completely different.
Jeremy is right.
It's completely different. I know winning kind of begets this, but that it's totally different. And you want to dismiss it as Knicks, and did they not just beat the Milwaukee Bucks?
You guys have been just saying that they're poop again and again. I don't want to hear about
I've been telling you all season long
said
that
they
the
were
vibes were terrible in that building, that no one liked each other, that it was super tense, and Kevin Love comes into the team, and it's diluted all that tension, and he's found a way to go between clicks, and he's just been a good locker room
And just
guy.
looking at the Knicks. They're like, you know what? Hey, guys, we got it pretty good around here.
Hey, look, it turns out all you need is love. Am I right?
Oh, for
Huh?
the love of God.
He's right about that.
We are doing a handful of things and have done a handful of things over 2 years trying to grow outside the infrastructure of legacy media. So a lot of people get days off around here, and you guys think they're fooling around when they have other things to do. And this company is trying to be a different company where we allow people to work from home occasionally and don't grind them to dust with 5-day work weeks that can be a little crushing because we're making a lot of things. So you guys have a number of different complaints about us and everything happening around here, and I understand it. I'd like Stugotz around more, too. Stugotz, a lot of you are pointing out, looks like he's not going to make it through the summer. That he looks unhealthy and he's ravaging himself, and he's making grainy videos from his BlackBerry and trying to, expense it to Meadowlark because he's in a hotel room and he's traveling the country with lacrosse tournaments. And so it's uneven. Nobody knew he was taking vacation this week. And then on top of that, we hit you with a furnace blast of talking about an 8 seed when you don't care. The country does not care about this Heat team. This Heat Knicks series was supposed to be something that was conflict-filled, and instead we got a Zeller running around out there, and he looks funny, and that's the only skirmish we got. And you got Chris Cody being cocky Heat fan, which is not something I've ever seen before. Chris Cody.
The Knicks will do it.
Like you guys are now saying, Mike is saying he wants to fight Julius Randle. Mike, that was yesterday.
Coward. Didn't look at me once.
You were like Stephen A. Smith with Eric Dampier in the Dallas locker room. You went looking for him so he could see your face and do something.
He knew where I was. He knew. 30! Bum! It's me! The guy that challenged you to a fight!
All right, stop calling him a bum.
No, he is a bum. He is. I've always told you this. I've remained consistent on Julius Randle.
Mike, this is a basketball player who I would not want as my 1 or my 2. You saw
Bum.
early.
Bum.
I don't think we're even saying that anymore.
No.
I don't think that's a thing we're saying publicly anymore. I think we've changed.
Okay, displays characteristics that of a bum.
I was corrected on
Houseless.
I was corrected on
unhoused.
Unhoused.
That's
yes.
no, because that takes a no. He's a bum on the court. I can say bum. He's a bum on the court. He's not a good basketball player. He's certainly not to the level that they gas him up just because he occasionally can go for 30 and he's wearing that uniform. No basketball.
He preened past Mickey Arison when he hit his ridiculous season to win a game. And I do believe Heat fans would have gotten scared last night if the Knicks had made a couple of shots to take a 4 or 5 point lead in the third quarter when they kept coming back. Right. I know this is now the swaggering, because I remember, it wasn't that long ago. It was about 5 or 6 games ago. I remember being at the chief hood ornament of, I don't trust this team. I don't trust their shooting. I am not with Mike on I'm going to trade Bam every couple of minutes because I don't factor in defense into anything that's happening around here.
He was solid last night. Good for him. And Kyle Lowry
Knicks
was
will
too.
do that to you.
Yeah, but I will remain consistent that I don't trust
Jeremy,
Bam.
the Knicks have nobody that can stop him. Bam, I'm talking.
Yeah, because it's Mitchell Robinson.
That's what I'm saying.
He was
Like,
They
just
tried to convince
great.
us Mitchell Robinson was somebody.
Mitchell Robinson was just great last round. He was great. He was great. He was great in that series.
Play the Cavs.
This is what I'm going.
All right.
This is what I'm going to say of this Heat team, and it is. It's not a sword I've ever laid down before. For 18 years, it's tired now, but I used to be somebody who was really going counterculture when I would say to you, on vibes, on intangibles, on coaching, on Jimmy Butler can be someone different in the playoffs than he is during the regular season. On all of your intangibles, all of them. And then this Heat team goes out there, and I can't explain why during the regular season they could not shoot at all, and now you don't even remember Tyler Hero. Like this series has been so obviously lopsided that no one misses Tyler Hero, which they will absolutely need if you want to actually beat the Celtics. But the Celtics might be scared of all of this. We got a rookie coach, and what you get into late in the series that I don't understand with Spo is even Thibodeau's got problems when all he can turn to is Grimes. Now, in the next round, there's more to turn to. There are better players over there. But hell, if I don't trust Spo at the end of a series with whatever he's doing, like I'm not going to come out here and do what they did to Popovich when he removed Tim Duncan from a game. I'm going to say, no, Popovich has his reasons for doing things, and if he made a mistake, he's still Popovich. Spo has gotten, and he's earned this, unlike Phil Jackson. After the players left that were all the superstars, we're all still like, holy, what is he doing out there? What does he know to get the best out of this and also be able to go nose to nose with Jimmy Butler? And how is that happening with Jimmy Butler? When he's shouting to everybody, I'm the best basketball player in the world. Since when? And I'm not here to argue with him. Like, how the hell did that happen? It happened with me questioning that he was a superstar. When he got here, I'm like, that can't be your one. It can't be your one. And now look at the Knicks and what they wouldn't do. Because if Jimmy was over there, they'd be winning this series like that. Like, you move Jimmy from one team to the other, and the Knicks would be like, do you know how obnoxious? You think we're obnoxious. Do you realize what the Knicks would be right now if they had that on their side?
He'd be Jordan.
But they don't.
No, he'd be discussed as Michael Jordan, which is what they kind of do with Jalen Brunson when he goes for 30. It's
Billy, you reacted very strongly to Chris Cody there.
It was way too loud.
Yeah, it's very loud.
I thought it was going to be off mic, but my mic was
I'm
on.
just
You got to lean back.
You seem upset, Dan. You seem upset that the Heat are up 3-1 right now. I don't understand.
No, that's not upset. It's in great praise of them that they've proven me wrong at every turn. And how dare I, having seen this myself for so many years and worshiping at the Riley cult, because the Knicks stopped mattering when he left and the Heat started mattering as soon as he got here. That's how it happened, and it's been that way for a quarter fucking century. And I forgot. I somehow forgot because I doubted this team.
The Spoelstra point's a great one by you. Jimmy is kind of stealing all the thunder from this. Spo, I mean, never even won a Coach of the Year. And then look at him on the sideline. He looks great.
He looks better.
I don't. I don't necessarily think Miami's great. I'm still surprised they beat Milwaukee. To me, like this arrogance and the fact I've never had an experience like that. We're going into a game. I knew we were going to win it. at the game, even when they pulled within 2. I'm like, nope, no stress whatsoever. This is purely a Knicks are garbage thing for me. Yeah. They stink.
This is me just going at Taylor because of the stupid boot video he did the other day.
Yeah. Such
Where
a
is
bad
that
video.
boot? Where is that
back,
boot?
Eat the boot.
We should just make him sit in here, not say a word and just sit.
No, that's a reward.
What? Yeah, see, because he likes to be on camera. This is annoying here. I don't understand. We are one of the things that people are objecting to. And I get it. The show for a long time, this is a familiar, intimate medium, has been me and Stugotz and the shipping container. And it's changing because Meadowlark is growing. And I understand your discomforts with that change. Lord knows I've had my discomforts with it. But we're trying to get younger. But not with that Taylor kid. Like, what are we doing? Like, how did that hire get made? Whose choice? Was this a skipper hire? Like, he's won.
It's a Tar Heel, maybe.
It's a Tar Heel.
Yeah.
But what is he doing? He's going to the games, and he's holding a boot, and then he's giving serious analysis that stinks and is all wrong. Now, that's on brand for us. But
It'll be interesting to see how the Knicks deal with Game 3 and they make their adjustment.
I was told he got the show. I was told that he understood what we were doing. You suspended him yesterday. What was the penalty? You got to eat your shoe. I haven't seen him eat his shoe.
He hasn't eaten his shoe yet. No. Eat the shoe.
At least a bite.
Eat the shoe.
We'll have a schooneral.
Bringing me back to Greg Cote of the Miami
shoe.
Herald. Greg, you've been a little slow this morning. Chris, your son is worried about you.
Those are his first words.
Hockey.
Eat the shoe.
He's not wrong, Dan.
You guys want to start the chant?
He's actually, that's him chanting. He just takes long pauses.
It's a syllable. It's a good syllable chant, though.
Is.
Let's do it right now.
Okay.
Eat the shoe. Eat the shoe. Eat the shoe. Eat the shoe.
I don't love this person getting video run at our company.
I thought you were just going to say, I don't love this person.
I don't love this person. This is supposed to be about family here, and he's clearly an outsider. Like, he's coming in here with his Knicks allegiances. He's going to the games with Parakeet Cortez. And what did I hear you guys saying before about what the greatest joy in this series is just to go to the games and look at the faces of Knicks fans as they realize
Dan.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Dan, I went with a Knicks fan last night. You got to do that. You got to do that. Oh, geez. It's just me saying, look, watch here. Here comes a Julius Randle turnover. Up, that's his 5th. The pick 6. He's terrible. Ooh, quickly. That is a flat shot. Ooh, like it's just Mitchell Robinson travels every play too. He's a very limited player.
Jeremy said he's been great. I mean,
Mitchell Robinson is what
Mitchell
I told you.
Robinson.
Nobody made a better point than me yesterday when I said it's Mitchell Robinson.
I hate that he wins the argument. When I'm sitting here like, Allen and Mobley are formidable front line, I would have been scared that they would have ended the Heat season.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Mitchell Robinson is part of what took down that team. And that's not to say that the Cavs were great. They weren't a great team. Those were 2 middling teams in the Eastern Conference.
It's Mitchell Robinson.
But he was good last series. It's just to give the Heat a little bit of credit for what they've done.
First round.
I can't even see your upper half because you're so...
It's not an achievement.
Let me explain to you how good you guys make fun of writers striking Mike Schur because of the bandwidth that he has to consume way too much sports because that brain works weird and needs a lot of stimulation. That guy was texting me, that guy who's been afraid of the Miami Heat and warning you for months that this cometh this way. The loudest voice on cowardice. I fear that team as a Celtics fan. That guy texted me before this series saying I cannot wait, and he is a comedy writer, for Mitchell Robinson to eat Jimmy Butler's lunch.
It's Mitchell Robinson.
To eat his lunch. He threatened me. He's been afraid. He's been a public coward for months, screaming like a lunatic to anyone who will listen. He hasn't yelled like this since he thought Trump was going to get reelected, and he called me from a car crazed talking about how that day democracy was going to die, and he was like driving into the desert, and I was worried he was going to run into a cactus.
He's convinced we're winning the title now. He's convinced that the Miami Heat.
He is so scared of all of the tangibles. Boston believes in all that stuff. Boston believes in ghosts and haunted and we're cursed to lose. And that building that's the toughest to play in doesn't have Jimmy Butler. They've got Jaylen Brown asking at the end of the games, maybe I need to demand the ball.
Eat the shoe.
Eat the shoe. Eat the shoe.
Eat the shoe.
10 more seconds.
Eat the shoe.
I want to fire him.
Eat the shoe.
You won't.
Eat the shoe.
Skipper won't.
The shoe.
Skyer.
Eat the shoe.
Whoa, you got old fast. Whoa, that happened quick, where I'm watching an old playoff team now with Jimmy having a great year, but now you have the choice tonight of, do you want to beat the Bulls tonight and get some extra playoff games, or have a fraction of a little more chance to get Wembanyama and fix yourself for 10 years?
Oh, that little chance, though, Dan. If that ping pong ball pops up Miami Heat, it's worth it.
The only chance the Heat have, and it's minuscule even under these circumstances, is if Giannis gets hurt. That's your chance that the Heat have.
Even then.
If they get
Or
there.
if Giannis fakes one, like he did the last time we knocked him out.
Kyle Lowry is a notoriously bad playoff player, one of the worst ever seen.
I don't think Miami is good enough to be good or bad enough to be bad. They're good enough to get your hopes up and bad enough to destroy them all at once.
That's why I wanted the lottery.
What, like the lottery had to
insane.
have
Thank you,
They
Mike.
already beat a 1 seed in game 1, and we're still
one
talking
game.
about the
And
lottery.
that, in
That's
all
wild.
likelihood, that's a 1 in a 5-game series, man. They're not good.
And you lose Tyler.
Without Giannis in the series, they still might be good enough to beat the Heat.
I don't want to be right, but I don't expect them to win tonight.
Thank you, Dan. Voice of reason. Thank you, Dan.
That loss against Atlanta at home, a really mediocre Atlanta team.
Yeah, team stinks.
To me, is the team that I expect to make an appearance tonight against Milwaukee, a desperate Milwaukee team. And I don't expect them to continue to shoot out of their mind. They've been the best shooting team in the entire postseason through a week.
Isn't Bam the Giannis stopper? Isn't that what he does?
There's no Giannis.
You can't be a Giannis stopper if you're not a Capella stopper. You gotta stop Capella.
I'd be tempted to believe that the Knicks are better than the Heat, that they've been better for a sustained period of time in the regular season.
But if they play in a playoff series, it's anyone's game.
They won't.
No, because they're not going to get to that 4-5.
Why are we saying Jimmy Butler like if he wasn't hurt last game? He had the same thing that happened to
he'll
Giannis
play.
happen to him. So what's going to happen?
Yeah, hurt his tush.
Things change quickly in like 7 or 8 games. This has been the best run, obviously, of the Heat season. It's been the most consistent basketball. The Heat and the Panthers have combined to win 12 of their last 13 playoff games. And Greg Cote has 8 seeds, 12 of their last 13 playoff games. There's never been a run like this concurrently in this market. And Greg Cote is a local legend. We make fun of him and we destroy his credibility 1 week at a time over many, many years. But Greg Cote, as a writer, is somebody who has chronicled for this market sports for 40 years. And he's never seen a run like this because the Panthers have been largely irrelevant since they got into town. And this is where generations of sports fans are made during playoff runs. What are you smiling about, Roy?
Please stop saying that. Largely ill. I mean, you're right, but still, like, just stop saying that. You're hurting my feelings.
It's a bit
now.
rude, yeah.
Yeah, it's rude, man. Stop. Just stop.
Which part?
Irrelevant. Just stop. Like, we are 1 win away from a conference final for the first time in 1996. Again, you're right. Irrelevant. Yes, but they've never swept a team before. They've never swept a team in the playoffs before. They have a chance to do that on Wednesday.
They had lost every game 1 going back to 1997 in a playoff series, and there weren't that many playoff series. But in celebrating this week, we had yesterday 2 broadcasting local legends on with us. Izzy Gutierrez has been in this market covering sports nationally, internationally, and locally for 20 years. And Zaslow is one of the few radio gas bags ever allowed into our universe. And him and Cody don't have much use for each other. And
They don't like each other?
well, I don't know how Greg Cote feels about Zaslow, but Zaslow said some things yesterday about Greg Cote. Zaslow, for 30 years, has been calling me or texting me in the last 15, since he was a young boy, to tell me that Cody stinks. that Cody's columns aren't memorable.
Usually when people talk crap about people behind the back, you don't, like, expose it. You're just like, Zaslow's been talking about you since I've known him.
Zaslow, since he was 12 years old.
Yeah, why are you talking to 12-year-olds, Dan? That's a little sus, as the kids say.
Okay, 20 years. Then for 20 years, Zaslow, since we started this radio station.
Did you know that Jonathan Zaslow is also known as a Cooper City Rattlesnake?
What?
He has a Wikipedia entry.
The Cooper City Rattlesnake?
Yeah. Yeah. Born in 1981, is a sports radio show host from South Florida. He's also known as a Cooper City Rattlesnake.
Did you know he's friends with James Jones?
Yes, they went to elementary school or something together. But Cody came in today and said, did anyone comment on how Zaslow was dressed as an adult man with a backward cap and an ill-fitting, old-timey Panthers jersey?
Backward flex fit. That's rough.
Please.
As a 40-year-old father of a teenager, that's Zaslow 10 years ago, and that's Zaslow 20 years ago, and when I knew him as a 12-year-old boy. Greg Cote, though, the problem, what's happening around here right now, Mike, is that the local legend, this playoff run is going to kill him. He was up till midnight last night.
I'm genuinely worried. He hasn't spoken more than 4 words.
He's not himself today. He is slow. He said he was going to come in broken, and he said this run is too much. What you were saying yesterday, you're half his age, and you were saying I need one of these teams to lose. I can't keep up this life pace. He's writing columns off of every game. He's exhausted. He was up till midnight and came in bragging that he saw part of the Lakers game, saw the Lakers game to its conclusion last night.
Yeah, the Heat were your boys last night. That's my limited fake Zaslow. Bad news for the Warriors. Okay. What does Zaslow say about me?
Well, I'll get the sound for you in a moment.
He said you were not a big game.
Crying out loud.
The Greg Cote Show featuring Greg Cote is
awesome. Awesome podcast. Awesome.
You could check that out wherever it is you get your podcasts.
Awesome.
We will get that sound whenever it is that they get me that sound.
I'm a 3-time Heat championship broadcaster. Awesome.
I don't know what's happening at this point. The impersonation is getting slightly worse, but the awesome you've got.
It's getting bad, yeah. Not that it was ever good.
But you're broken.
Oh, you love that.
You're busted up. You're working too much.
I am working too much.
You're tired.
Yeah.
Chris, are you worried about your dad? Because a lot of people are worried about Stugotz's health, and this is running your father into the ground. He is like Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. Danny Glover was only 48 at the time. Too old for this.
But you got to see the light at the end of the tunnel, Dad. Come on, we're in an, like you said, unprecedented run. You got to even be enjoying this a little bit.
Yeah. I've said before, it's exhilarating and exhausting at the same time.
What's more? The pie chart. The pie chart. What's?
I would say exhilarating. It's been, look, everything is recency bias, right? You can't say something like this without being accused of that. But I think what these two teams are doing right now is historic in this market. I could make an argument that the last 6 wins in a row for the Panthers have been the greatest 6-run stretch in playoff history when you consider who they're beating from a number 8 seed. And what the Heat are doing is every bit as, you know, the LeBron versus Steph Curry is getting all the attention nationally. What the Heat is doing is just as memorable. It's great.
This would be a good run for these two teams if they were top seeds. And that's the craziest. The part that makes it the crazy thing is that they're both 8 seeds. It's just insane.
Many people are writing in, why is Zaslow screaming at me? What happened to the show? Today's show was trash, just a relentless stream of whining and complaining. I don't know how many straight Monday local hours in a row I can have where I'm like, holy shit, the Monday local hour is going to be lit, and then it's a complete dud. It's like 4 in a row. Well, how about this one? We got backward cap Greg Cote. Homerific. You look better.
Awesome.
You that backward cap makes you look younger than Zaslow presently looks.
Is that right?
Maybe that's, is it not? Does Greg Cote, now he looks like a fool with the cap backward.
And feels like a fool.
But you look 20 years younger.
Okay. And the difference is that Zaslow doesn't know he looks like a fool, whereas I do. See, there's a little self-awareness issue going on here.
We're going to get that sound, and we're going to play it for you.
I want to hear it.
And, well, he's not wrong, though, when he points out that the local historian, local legend, that your most memorable column is that you traded Dan Marino.
Right. Everybody's got to have one.
Sure. I would not test the Cooper City Rattlesnake the way that you are. It's
the Cooper City Rattlesnake. What did he write his own Wikipedia page, Zaslow?
He might have.
I mean, seriously, what is going on with that?
Chris Cody.
Yeah, you flamed him.
Chris Cody, you are well aware this is going to be a problem over the course of today's show. You are well aware that this is very capable here of your father getting in his feelings right now, because your father can be really sensitive about people questioning his column credentials, because he's been a legend in this market for 40 years, and he takes his credibility seriously here, a credibility that we've taken a hatchet to.
But knowing that, maybe that's why we don't bring it up and make him feel that way, since we need him for 3 more hours.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't mind a credible source questioning my column writing.
Oh, boy.
I don't. But, when it comes from somebody who I don't particularly respect, then it flies off my back.
All right, we're going to give you a chance to respond right now to this. Greg Cote of the Miami Herald, longtime columnist. Zaslow has been making fun of Greg Cote's columns for the better part of 15 years.
That's right. I'm much longer than that. I mean, it all starts in 93. You can't trade Marino and not think I'm going to be on your case.
93, I wasn't even bored. I was 2.
Trades Marino. I'm gonna forget that?
Which part about his columns gets you the most? Is it the fact that he always includes all the teams in no matter what column he's writing about?
I mean, it's really because it's
That's
like,
fair.
Which way's the wind blowing today, and that's what we're gonna write. Like, that really is it. Let me also preface, I think he's a really nice man. I don't have to like all of his work. I hope he thinks
You don't like any of his work.
I hope he thinks that I'm a nice young man, but he doesn't have to like my work.
Young. Izzy there with a little jab.
Well, Izzy got Greg in a place that hurts because he pointed out something that's true.
He respects Izzy, too.
Greg mentioned, but he thought it was funny because it's true. Greg mentions all the teams in all his columns.
I like that, though. It's a good wrap-up. There's lots of things going on.
Thank you, Billy.
Greg covers them all.
But you've got a rebuttal, certainly.
Well, first...
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.